the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Daily Double. Today we're doing Mesechus Pesachim Perek Zayin, Mishnah Zayin and Ches. Mishnah Zayin says, "A Pesach shenizrak damo." Korban Pesach was brought. He sprinkled the blood on his back. No dashu tame. He found out that the Korban Pesach itself was tame. Hatzitz maratza. The sitz, right? The fact that the Kohen Gadol wears the sitz. One of the reasons he wears the sitz is that it's mechaper on korbanos that are brought in tumah, or they're brought with the wrong kavanas sometimes. So this is one of the cases where this is maratza. It's effective, the korban, even though the actual animal was tamei. Nitma haguf. However, if the person who brought the korban pesach, his body was tamei when he brought the korban pesach, and it's maratza, that doesn't work. They shamru. Chazal said, "As nazir v'osa pesach, nazir, and the person who bring the korban pesach, it's maratza al tumas adam." If his body became tamei from blood of a dead person, it's a good korban after the fact. However, if his body was tamei, so then the zrikas adam doesn't help. For example, korban pesach, the zrikas adam with the korban pesach. And by a nazir who becomes tamei by touching a gufa, a dead person, even though he brought his karbanos after you have to wait 7 days and bring karbanos of tuma, he was zorek the dam, and then you found out you were tamei. It doesn't help if you're tamei tuma sukuf, you're tamei from a dead person. However, if it's tuma from a guf, right? One of the ways you can become tamei from a dead corpse is if you form an OL, you walk over a dead corpse where he's buried. If no one ever knew where that person was buried, it's called Tumas Atom. Never ever know it. No one ever knew it that the person was buried there before, and then you unearth them afterwards. It doesn't make a difference. That if you brought your karbanas tuma, they're effective. B'di'evet. Nitma shalem or rubo. Let's say the Korban Pesach, most of the Korban Pesach became tamei, or all of it became tamei, or rubo, or most of it. So the halacha is, it's kachim which are tamei. You have to burn it in the Beis Hamikdash. Ma'atzei marachaf. You burn it from the wood of the Beis Hamikdash. Nitma miuta. However, if a small portion of the Korban Pesach is tamei, nosar is Korban Pesach was completely tor. Just you only have that day and that night to eat it. Maybe according to one opinion, you only have tachassos to eat it. So it becomes nosar afterwards. So and you don't have to burn in the Beis Hamikdash. You should go back to your house and burn the meat over there. Use your own wood. Don't use hektish wood, the word of the Beis Hamikdash. However, there were people that were cheap. Most people are cheap. So even when a miyut of the Korban Pesach become tamei, or it was nosar, where they're supposed to actually take it to their houses and use their own firewood to burn it, they were stingy and they would not listen to the Allah. Or we'll talk about this in Yom Tzion, whether they actually did something wrong, or meaning they did me'ilah. You can't use hektish for something you're not allowed to use it for, or it was just not a good mitzvah. Either way, it's not a good thing. They did it. They burned it in the Beis Hamikdash when they're not supposed to, and they used the asay maracha to do it. Hektish wood to do it because they didn't want to spend their own money. Stay tuned for Yom Tzion when I talk about the midah of stinginess, being someone who's a little too frugal. I have what to say about this. Yom Tzion coming up next.